Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bullhucker podcast. I'm Moose Lundstrom.
I'm Adam Vokey.
And we have returning Bullhucker, Tertia Cain, with us today.
Hello.
Hello. Tertia's here to do our reveal from last week's episode of the 3 great stories. But before we get started, I want to tell you, please check out the bullhucker.com. Check us out on YouTube. Hit subscribe, the subscribe button, and the little bell icon so it shows you whenever we have a new video out. Get on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. We're on all of that. Check us out. Make sure you like or love or whatever. And hopefully you wrote down which one, or on the comments, which one of Tertia Cain's stories was the Bullhucker, which one you thought it was. I have a lot of people guessing. It's gotten a little better. So This is episode 11. Well, this is actually episode 12 because we have Todd after this. So also, we're at the Sands Theater. I forgot to mention that last time. They've been so gracious to let us do this podcast here. It's such a cool theater. It really is. So please make sure they're open now. So please make sure you come check out the Sands. You want to see a movie, come on down. They're open Friday, Saturday, and then 3 o'clock on a Sunday matinee. So come check it out. I'm not sure what movies yet because they don't have that far out. We're a little ahead of time. We're in the past right now. This happened already. So anyway.
If we don't wrap this up in 5 minutes, we're going to find out because they're going to start the movie. So
what's that?
I said we don't wrap this up quick, they're going to start the movie on us. So we'll find out then.
Okay. So what we do now is Adam and I are going to Rochambeau. We're going to, I say paper, rock, scissors. He says rock, paper, scissors. And I am going to concede.
Paper, scissors, rock.
Paper, rock, scissors.
Paper, scissors, rock.
Is that what you say?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Hold on. Do you do it boom, boom, boom? Or?
No, it's bum, bum, shoot.
Thank you. But you and I are on the same page. We're a very small group of people, apparently. We had a video online where Adam and I put it out there, and it was overwhelmingly the other way.
Really?
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
But we've been doing it like this, forever. And then Adam was like, and then no, it wasn't.
No, it was
you.
Matt. Matt brought it up.
Yeah, because Matt's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "What are you doing?" Like we had no rhythm together. That's why I said Matt and I will never make love. Just that's no rhythm together. So
and that's why I'm always gone when he's here. So just in case.
So anyway, I am going to concede. We're going to do it on 4 from now on. Your bastard Fort Morgan away. So, are you ready, man?
Yep.
Damn it! All right. So the stories we have from last week are the That's a No For Me dog, Blow Harder, and Is a 6 Toe Really That Bad? Now, Tertia's already told us that this is the borrowed story, which is cool because the last couple have been like that. Someone has completely made them up. So I have to try and pick. Now, I don't think it's the Blow Harder. I think that's a true story. I really do. That's a pretty innocent story. Is a 6 Toe Really That Bad? I think that's a true story too. That's the one I don't know. It's a great story, by the way. And if it's true, next time I see Michael, all kinds of shit he's gonna get. So dirty cousin Humper. Anyway, so my Bullhucker, I'm gonna go with That's a No For Me dog. You had said when they asked your name, you said Tertia Cain. You wouldn't have been Tertia Cain back then, though.
You're right. I would have been Tertia Hawk.
Yeah. What was your maiden name?
Hawk.
Hawk?
That didn't rhyme with anything, unfortunate.
Tertia Hawk?
High school was great.
I bet.
Tertia Hawk. That's a great name, though. That's pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to go with That's a No From Me dog. That's going to be my Bullhucker. That's the only reason I'm picking it is because you would have been Tertia Cain back then. So, Mr. Vokey?
See, I was thinking that the same thing, that's a no for me dog, just because I've known Tertia a while and I don't think I've ever heard about her auditioning for American Idol. But I might have. That's the thing. I can't remember. Usually when we hang out, there's alcohol involved.
I was going to say, some of these people were drinking so much. You know what I mean? Like, didn't see his episode. I'm like, yeah, that's Chloe's middle name. She's like, how'd you know that? I'm like, because we've been drunk a lot. You told me all kinds of stories.
I don't know. The other one I was thinking, I'm like you. I'm thinking Blow Harder is true.
I think that's a true story. Yeah.
And so I don't know, man. This is the part that really sucks. See, if I would have lost at rock, paper, scissors, then I could have picked the one you picked. And I know I can still pick it, but
like when the cop was like, blow harder, I've been like, you're the one that sucks. You blow hard. You know what I mean? But then that's when you get beat. That's when,
right.
And you kind of deserve it if you say that to a cop. So.
See, now I'm thinking blow harder. I don't know.
And they call me the indecisive one.
I know. I suck at making decisions.
It's tough. I mean, it's this is fun though. This is why this podcast is fun. You know what I mean? So, was it hard to? While he's thinking about it, was it hard to make whichever one's not true? Was it hard to write that one?
A little bit.
Did it have any kind of basis at all in truth or no?
Not really.
Just out in the blue. Just okay. That's even better. That's cool.
Yep.
Did you bounce it off any friends or anything?
I bounced it off of Michael.
Okay. All right.
That's what
I need to
she
make a
said.
phone call.
What'd Michael say?
He thought it's like, yeah, that would be believable.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And I did pick the American Idol, and I was reluctant to do that first. That's the only reason I took the.
Yeah.
I'm
The last
actually going
name.
to go
I've been
against.
Tertia Cain for way too long.
Yeah, maybe that's it too. That's it too. It's funny, like in high school at the reunions, when you see other girls you grew up with,
Yeah.
I still call them by their maiden names.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, because you'll never be the married name. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm happy you're happy, but that's great. But I don't know you that way. You know. What do you think?
Every
Derek?
time I look at that list, my eye goes to one story, and so I'm going to go with Blow Harder. I don't know why, but the one that we think's true, I'm going to say that's the Bullhucker.
Okay, and I gotta say, let's not make a habit of this. Only one person's beat us both.
Oh.
John Beltran beat us both,
Mm-hmm.
and that sucked. I was so sad about that. So I don't know.
I
Tertia
went-
Cain,
I
grab
went home and cried.
grab
like
it and
I'd
let's
just
see,
been
and let's
kicked off
see,
American Idol.
Okay.
Nope.
That's a no from me, dog. What's up? Whoop, 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 whoop.
Oh.
I'm catching up. I'm only
Can't believe I
four-
slipped on my maiden name.
Yep.
See, I didn't even catch that. I heard you say it. I didn't even think
That's like
anything
some
of it.
CSI stuff right there.
That's the only time I've ever done that. Usually he's the one that catches this shit.
He's the one that catches it.
Usually Adam's the one like, your eye kind of twitched. And I'm like, your eye twitched? I don't know, you know?
See, I should have lost. Then I would have been right.
Yeah. Oh, is that the one you're going to pick?
That's the one I was going to pick.
You could
till
have still
picked
picked it, man.
I know, but I don't want to double up on one, and then that gives them the advantage of beating us both.
Because there's going to be
I'll take one for the team.
a page on our website called the Hall of Fame page. So whenever someone beats us both, they're going to go on the Hall of Fame
That's
page.
impressive.
Yeah.
Darn it.
So nobody in the family has ever kind of, with the six toe story, that's never really came up with anybody in the family, like distant relatives or anything?
No, it was pretty, like, once we realized she was married in, it was like, oh, okay, we're good. We're
Okay.
solid.
Okay, cool.
We're solid.
That's cool. I mean, you were almost date a cousin?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
I've told the story already once on this podcast, but I met my dad when I was 24 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So before I met him, I was working in Pueblo at a nightclub, and there was a girl named Amy who used to go party all the time. It was a group of us. And thank God I'm bad with women. You know what I mean? Thank Jesus I'm bad with women. Because we'd hung out and drank a lot together. And so when I finally meet the family, my dad, guess who's there? My first cousin Amy.
Oh,
Yeah.
that could have been fun.
That could have been real weird. I'm like, hey, it's nice to meet you for the first time, Amy. You know? So that's crazy. And then Blow Harder. That's a great story because it might happen so much. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and when you laugh at the cop, he gets mad, right? But I mean,
Literally. Like, and I'm sitting and he's standing. So let's talk about what's eye level at the moment as well. Could not have been set up any
Right.
better or worse, depending on how you.
right.
you look at
Yeah.
I wonder if that goes like, if they can do that nowadays. Like, you think he would word that different.
Right?
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you need to apply more pressure with your lungs.
Exhale firmly.
That's what I was going to say. Exhale.
Thank you. That's better. That's why you should be better cops than me. You know? With my-
Exhale with authority, ma'am. More authority, ma'am.
Oh, that's my side job.
Blow like you really want out of this ticket, ma'am. I don't know how else to put it to you. You know? So crazy. So anything else, Tertia? What anything else you want to pump while you're here, or anything else you want to promote? Are you going to do that up in Blackhawk, or are you going to do the voice training?
Yeah, I think I'm going to try and get a studio started there. Of course, I mean, have to navigate the whole COVID crap, but we'll
Sure.
have to figure out how that works. But I'm also hoping just with the casinos, there might be a little bit more of that live music scene. And
Right.
it's like my dream to wear a sequin dress and lay on top of a grand piano with a Cruella de Vil cigarette
amazing.
singing Fever. Like, that's just bucket
You
list
don't remember
stuff
the
right
Graf
there.
Christmas party that you did that at? Just kidding.
I was like, wait, what?
You don't remember Adam doing the second string of it, string chorus? That's right, I got the fever. What's Fever? I never heard that song.
Never knew how much I loved you. Never knew how much I cared. But when you put your arms around me, I get a fever that's so hard to bear. You give me fever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's an old school song.
Yeah.
Who's the original artist?
I don't know.
Okay.
Tertia Cain.
Tertia Hawk. It's old, I told you. So you were a tall girl with the last name Hawk. Mm-hmm. That's a tough name, girl. That's
Especially when you're a high jumper. And do you know what they say? So-and-so up, so-and-so on deck, so-and-so in the hole. Yeah.
That's horrible.
It
I was a fat kid, so they used to call me Larry Lunchroom. That one hurt. But it was so original and so clever. I thought, man, that sucks.
Oh,
Good for
man.
you guys.
Going back to the on deck and then the whole thing. I went to high school with a kid with his name was Fell. So, Harrison fell in the hole. So it was
Seriously?
Yeah. I went to school. His older sister Mia was in my class, and then his oldest sister Monica was a year ahead of me, or 2 years ahead of me.
I mean, your parents you have two kids, yes?
Yeah.
How much did you put into their names? Like how much did you think about it?
A lot. Like trying to figure out every possible, like, are initials good? Do they spell anything bad?
Right.
What does it rhyme with?
Right.
Like Daphne, the worst one is, like from Scooby-Doo. And I've just taught her to be like, no, from Frasier.
Yeah, good for you.
Speaking of the initial thing, when Marty was pregnant with Harley, we had like everything picked. Harley's name is Harley Michelle, but we originally were going to go, because that's my sister's name, and then Marty has a niece named Michelle, so that's why we went with Michelle. But originally we were going to go with Marty's middle name for Harley, which is Irene. But then I said her initials would be HIV. Yeah. So let's save that one for Brindley, I suppose. So now that's Brindley's middle name now. But
It's a little better.
Irene.
What's Harley's middle name?
Michelle.
Michelle. Oh, you just said that.
I just said that.
I was trying to open my water,
See,
man.
that makes it even more amazing that he caught the Cain thing.
It really does.
I just want to catch Adam in this shit. That's all I want to do. You know what I mean? I thought of this podcast. I put it together. I figured it all out. And I'm the worst one at it, And I'm kind of glad you're not going to be here tomorrow, so Matt can be here, because I'm going to do everything in my power to make Matt lose. He's 1-0, man. And he's been rubbing it in and talking trash. So
There you go.
I'm gunning for you. Tertia, thank you so much for coming on
Absolutely. This was a
Thanks for
hoot.
coming.
It was a hoot. So, like I said, I hope you got it right. Well, I hope you got it wrong, because I got it right. I like to talk shit. But please make sure you stick around after this for our 3 news stories from Todd Allen. He's the owner of Mega Music in Sterling, Colorado, the musician.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome.
I'm
Todd's a
liking
good
your
dude.
themes.
Yeah. Well, comedians, we can't get to do it because of COVID. So, anyway, please stick around. Thank you so much for checking us out, and have a good day. Later.
Peace.
All right, guys, I want to thank you for sticking around. We just got done with the Tertia Cain episode and her reveal, actually. I like to say I got it right and Adam got it wrong. I'm actually catching up with Adam.
Wow.
By the way, this is Moose Lundstrom, and we have the only undefeated co-pilot here, Matt Gordon, 1-0.
1-0.
1-0. I want to know. And our guest today is
But
Mr.
it's not a sprint; it's a marathon, right?
That's right. That's right. That's why I'm actually rooting for you today to fool Matthew here, because
Nice.
we got to get that chip off his shoulder. We have Todd Allen with us today. What's
Knock
going
him
on,
off
Todd?
that 1-0, baby.
We have Todd Allen
You're
with us
going
today.
down.
How are you, Todd?
Weird as always.
Of
That's
course.
how I'm doing.
I like
It's
that.
2020. It's
Yeah.
all weird.
Made the trip down from Sterling, Colorado.
Yeah, it was a long haul.
Todd
Did
is the owner and proud owner of Mega Music.
I want to tell a story about Mega Music
Okay.
real quick. So I was looking for places to buy strings. There's not a ton of places outside of Morgan County and close to Brush. I live in Brush. But I picked your store for 2 reasons. One, proximity,
Right.
which helped. And 2, I absolutely love that you respond to negative comments on Google reviews. And
Yeah.
it made me laugh so hard
Do you really?
that you would crush these people. And I was like, that's a guy I can buy strings from.
I can be an a-hole. I certainly can.
Oh, I believe that
and,
story.
And if I was, I'll be like, okay.
No, you were
call me
straight
out.
up.
That's fine. fine.
They were
But
making crap
when,
up.
when they are just being, internet trolls.
Yes.
I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna say something. I'm just gonna tell the truth.
I
But,
loved it.
Right.
I was like, I don't have a lot of time for that. But you be around a long time, somebody's gonna hate you.
Exactly.
That's just the way it
Of
is.
course.
But I just, I'll put them in their place, and then usually, but have a nice day.
Yep. Yep. So I was like, I got to get my strings from that guy. That's the guy.
Yeah, I've heard it all in 23 years, and I'm just like, yep,
23 years you've owned that store.
23. Yeah, been there forever.
How long in that current location though?
Well, I was downtown, actually right next to the radio station before it was even the radio station. Before it was KPMX, I was there for about 8.5 years, and then I moved uptown. So I've been up there for a long time.
Awesome,
Not
man.
many people even remember I was downtown, but I started off downtown street.
I remember you being downtown. That's where I remember
Yeah.
the original Mega Music. But
yeah. Well, we're old, man. See,
yeah, we were. I used to drive a Budweiser truck through Sterling. Actually, we always talk about how I know everybody, and I don't remember how we met, but we have the comedy shows we've had for almost 10 years now. The first one didn't go to Sterling. It was Fort Morgan was the first one, and then Sterling. We started doing it, and Todd's actually been the person we went through our tickets the whole time.
Oh, okay.
Todd's sold more comedy tickets. Well, I think the only person is Kevin in Unique Embroidery in Fort Morgan
There
because he
you
was
go.
there for the first year. But I think Todd's actually sold more comedy tickets for us than anybody. I mean, how many would you say? Thousands.
Oh, we hustle it, baby.
Yeah.
Put it on social media, and I got my fancy digital sign. So yeah, we just anything that's about live entertainment, comedy, whatever, man. I'm all about it. I'm all
Awesome.
supporting it.
Yeah,
That's
he's-
my world, man.
That's awesome, man.
He is awesome about it. And it's funny, like when other shows come in, he kind of, he's the buffer. He's like, all right, you guys, you're all right. We're all going to love each other. Everybody love everybody, So,
Peace, love, dove, baby.
yeah,
Hey,
well,
bro,
that's-
just chill out, man.
That's excellent, though. You know what I mean? That's excellent. It's
Be
been
excellent to each other.
Be excellent to each other.
That's right.
Did you guys watch that new movie, by the way?
Absolutely.
No?
Not yet. I got to.
It's okay. It's, you know what?
Yeah.
It's okay.
I can't believe you just said that. I thought it was phenomenal.
Did you really like it?
Yeah, it's one of the only movie sequels where I went in super skeptical, thinking, "Oh, great, here we go, another reboot. They're gonna ruin it and absolutely destroy Bill and Ted as characters."
Right.
It felt like a natural progression.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
And I know I'm probably going to dig parts of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's about music and the insanity of musicians
Yes.
and egos and all that stuff. So
Right.
I'll get into it. It's kind of like the Blues Brothers, It's like so many of those things. I was like, oh, yeah, I've been there before. That happened to me, man. I know
Right.
exactly. The chicken wire, I'm like, oh, I know exactly, man. Those lights are off for a reason. I'm like, oh, been there. Yes. I relate to this stuff.
That's hilarious.
So I was like, yeah, I know what they're talking about.
I'm not going to say I didn't like. I guess like Keanu Reeves. I love Keanu Reeves.
Me too.
I think Keanu Reeves is awesome and everything.
Yes.
But he's lost that boyish charm of the,
Of
the
course.
character. You know what I mean?
After you watch somebody smash somebody else's head into a pencil, it's kind of hard to
True.
be like, "Oh, bro, let's hang out and play some music."
Yeah,
But he
after
should have
see-
tried harder.
Yeah, after you've seen Wick and
Yeah,
the
Neo in the
Matrix and
Matrix,
stuff,
yeah.
it's like it's hard to go back to awesome man.
Station.
Yeah,
Did you ever watch the Saturday Night Live where they're making fun of him, like before he hit it big, and they make fun of that's the only character he can do, and he's doing like Socrates. Socrates.
Yeah.
They make fun of him, but he turns out to be
Or,
this amazing actor.
Yeah, yeah.
I like it when they were making fun when he did that movie with Sandra Bullock. And
Oh, Speed.
we've got to get off this bus.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh man.
But he's been in so, and you know what? I hear you hear rumors and stuff. I hear he's an amazing dude too. I guess he's just a phenomenal guy to everybody's around. You know what I mean? So that's always nice too when you find out they're not douchebags.
Humble in
Yeah.
victory.
Right.
It's good to see.
Right. One thing you guys have in common is you're both musicians.
Oh yeah.
Obviously,
Yes.
you said you were buying guitar strings.
Yes, I was getting my 7 guitars set by Rich Pardun. I just remembered his name
Remember
on
his
the
name,
podcast. Thanks, Rich. Shout out. And I just needed some strings to get my stuff set. I hadn't played in like a year and a half. I put it
Forever.
off, and so I was like, okay, I got to get back. And I started playing. Everything sounded like hot garbage. So I was like, it's definitely not me. I'm perfect. So I better go get the strings changed and get these
Get
things
it
set.
going.
Everything will be back to the way it was.
That reminds me before I opened the store, I played in national bands, and so when I opened it, I'd retired from my national band and opened the store, and it was about 5 months of just doing that, getting the location, getting display stuff up, getting distributors all set up, just tons of work.
Yeah.
So I put a weekend band together with some buddies of mine and some other guys used to play nationally that were out in the area, and I remember the first practice we had, and we used to play 7 nights a week, travel all over the U.S. We've traveled all over the world. We were just banging it 7 nights a week. So my hands were just like, granite. They would just play anything.
Right.
I picked up that guitar for that first practice. We got done with the 5 songs. I'm like, I'm actually tired.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God. So it's like I have to build back up what I had before.
Right.
So that was a shock to me because I was used to playing 7 nights a week, just hours upon hours of playing.
How did you even start with music, Todd? How did it even become a thing with you?
It was one of those things where I really didn't. I love music and I love my sports. I mean, I actually went on an athletic scholarship, a track scholarship to college.
Damn.
I was a great basketball player, but I'm not that terribly tall, so I could jump like a gazelle. I had like a 44-inch vertical leap, but I was not blessed with being over 5'10", but I was a gazelle, but I was fast. So the next best thing was, well, I get free college if I do something, so I'll run track.
Track, yeah.
But I always loved music too, and so we had our ag advisor out at school was a guitarist, and he played in this little weekend, play the Vets Hall and Legion Club, stuff like that. Well, he got a little jazz band going together at the school, and I was getting in my junior year, and I was taking a lot of credits, so I had a lot of open time. So I had a lot of like library aid and office aid stuff. It was just skating,
Sure.
Well, I went back one quarter, and I see this jazz band thing, and I was like, I was not a musician. I took bells in junior high,
Cool.
and she almost flunked me because I was so terrible. And she's like, "Well, you just clean up after class, and just here, I'll tape what here you got to play on the bells." It was seriously bad,
Right.
But I loved singing. I was always in choir, so I always sang. And so they had me in this jazz band, and so I go meet with him, and I'm like, "I think you got a mistake here, man." It's like, I don't even own an instrument. He goes, "Well, we're gonna have you playing bass." Again, I don't own a musical instrument. He goes, "Well, we bought you a bass." I'm like, "Oh, well, you're pretty convinced about this, aren't you?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know how to play a bass." I almost
Right.
flunked out of junior high band. He's like, "Well, we're going to teach you and stuff." I'm like, "Really don't want to do it," I was like, "Really don't want to." My brother was playing drums and stuff. I'm like, "Well, really need a bass player." And I go, "I really don't want to do it." And so they're still trying to talk me into it 2 days later. And I'm like, "Well, just do it," or stuff. I said, "Well, okay, I'll tell you what." This is when I was getting a little older and cockier. It's like, you guarantee me an A. You don't have to be an A plus, but you guarantee me an A, and I'll join the band and do it. I really don't want it. I'd rather just be office aide and get my homework
Right,
done,
Right.
and then I don't have any homework at night.
Right.
He goes, now I'm going to have to study and practice and all this stuff where I could just do my homework and be done with it at night, And he's like, "Oh, we can't do that." And I said, "Well, goodbye." I walk out, he's yelling at me.
Right.
It's like, "All right, we'll guarantee you a B plus." And that's how it all began. And I'm like,
That's
okay,
cool.
then started playing in little 3-piece bands. And then eventually I was in Florida for a while after I graduated. And then I came back, and then we moved up to Denver and started a band that became pretty darn big and famous. We got a recording contract with Metro Studios up in Minneapolis. And we were recording. Our manager was a guy named Dale Strength. That was actually, he put the Jets together. I don't know anybody remembers they're kind of like a Black Caribbean kind of band, the Jets. And then he put that band together. He was Olivia Newton-John's road manager. He did a bunch of stuff.
Wow.
So he was our manager. So we were getting up there, and we opened up for tons of people. I've opened up for Joan Jett and Little River Band and just tons of people, just
Great.
tons of people. And so
That's
we
awesome.
were getting there, and then as the old story goes, then, it all fell apart, the egos and drugs and, that
The fragile house of
VH1
cards.
behind the music thing.
Yep.
Right.
It was all that,
Have you
all
always
that
been the bassist?
What's that?
Have you always played the bass, or you?
I
did
started
something
out
else?
playing bass guitar. The other trade out was too, I really never seen myself as a bass guitar player. I was singing, and at that time I was hearing songs and I wanted to put together lyrics, and I really wanted to play guitar. My older brother had a guitar, and I was kind of just had the old stupid Mel Bay books, and I was trying to play the stupid old Montgomery Ward's guitar.
Oh, I remember
And,
those books.
Yeah, and I hated them, And opened my store, I'm like, never bring me
Yes.
those books ever. And so I told him, I said, okay, I'll play the bass, but at the same time, you got to teach me some guitar. And
Good.
so I started off on bass, still play bass when I record. I record all my bass tracks, but then I slowly got into guitar. And in any bands I ever played, I was always the mutt. They're like, run the sound, play guitar, sing, play the keys, whatever. I just kind of slowly just learned it all, and
Great.
just whatever something needed to be done, away we went.
That's kind of what you did, right?
That is,
It's kinda-
definitely not at the national level, opening up for Joan Jets.
But being the butt, like doing a little of everything, right?
Yeah, so first band, 7-piece metal band. We were like regionally in Colorado, toured all over the place, and opened up for Gigantor when Megadeth and all them played.
Oh yeah.
I was huge. I was 17. You know, it was just amazing. But I started off as a keyboard player for this 7-piece metal band, and then I ended up playing bass, and then that band fell apart, as they do. Picked up guitar, and I had actually played. I was a tuba player, all-state tuba player, first chair for years. From elementary school to high school, and I wanted to do orchestral arrangements, and so I downloaded a bunch of samples, taught myself audio engineering, and then after my second band fell apart, as they do, I moved to LA to go do studio work and try and make it out there and see what happens. And after 5 years of getting chewed up and spit out, I came back. It's like I think I got to go on a different path, but I haven't never given up on music. I still play as often as I can.
Well,
that's really keep it in your heart and keep it alive.
I teach guitar and bass and talk to a lot of up-and-coming students and stuff, and I said, hey, you don't have to be famous with it. You don't ever have to get up on stage.
Exactly.
It's just something you can enjoy. I've taught like the older guys and stuff that they're like, I just want to write old country 3-chord songs and do that. I'm like, do that. We'll teach you how to do that. You don't ever have to do it for anybody but yourself.
Yeah.
So there's all sorts of different ways to do it. And, I just went to the route where I liked entertaining people. As you can tell, I'm a talker, so I didn't mind being in front of people. I was always in basketball and all that stuff. I was always in front of crowds and in plays and in choir.
Yeah.
So I didn't really get that much stage fright. I think I was too dumb to be scared or whatever. I was just having a good time with it, So I just go up and do it. I was always a clown, so I was always clowning in front of people. So I didn't mind it, and I always tell people I'm a businessman first, I'm an entertainer second, and I'm a musician third.
Yeah.
Probably my weakest link is my musicianship, but my business chops and my entertainment chops are probably the best. The best compliment I ever get is when we go out and play shows and people come up to me and they're like, you should really be a comedian. But, seeing you guys at shows and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, I can BS a little bit and have fun, but that's a whole different world that I don't want to get into, but I can clown around,
I think most comedians want to be musicians. Funny enough,
it's always the vice versa with the two.
I think a lot of musicians like to try comedy, but I think most comedians would love to play an instrument.
I could do a solid 3 minutes. And I'm like, that's pretty funny. Okay, I'm out.
Have you ever
I
thought
don't want
about
to do anymore. No
mix
more
it up, man? Mixing. So, like, one of my favorite comedians, he's a younger guy, Bo Burnham, writes comedy songs.
Yeah.
Stephen Lynch, great guitar player, wanted to be famous as a musician, wrote comedy songs. So that's what I did most recently. I actually, oh my gosh, I didn't think I'd talk about this. Hillrose. The mayor of Hillrose is the director of public works at the city of Brush. I work for the city of Brush. And he invited me out.
What's up, Dale?
Yeah, hey, Dale, what's going on, man?
What's up?
Dale, Dale in podcast. He invited me to go do sound for the show and was like, do you want to be the opener? And I was like, Dale, I haven't done real music in years at this point. But I have done a lot of comedy open mics where I would bring my guitar, sing and play terrible songs and just joke around. I love doing that. Have you tried that?
I do all sorts of interesting stuff, and I'll just clown around and do like a name that tune. I've posted some of it on my Facebook page where, name that riff and stuff like that. So I'll play a little riff from a song and do it stuff like that. But I've never really, I can crack people up and be a clown and stuff like that, but I've never really tried to say, all right, let's put something really entertaining together and cohesive.
Yeah.
So I've never kind of gone that far.
Interesting.
I stay busy enough with music. I'm like, I just need to get better at that,
Well, before we get to the stories, there's one thing I want to ask you about. You and your wife do it's pretty unique what you do.
Yeah.
For entertainment. You want to talk a bit about that?
Yeah, Heather and myself, we have a group. Well, I think this is third, going into our fourth year. Because when I quit my national band, like I said, I came out here and I started up after I got the store going. We had a band called the Getting Busy Band, which most people know that one from around here.
I've heard it, yeah.
They don't really know my national bands and all that stuff. We did play out here now and then with a band called As Is. Oh, yeah, where's my pictures? So
The visual aids.
I got to get visual aids. Sorry, guys. I'm making noise. So this is, where do I hold it up at?
Right here.
Right there?
This camera right here.
Boom. So that's As Is. And yeah, we kind of look like a bunch of girls or whatever. This is
love
the
it.
early 90s, baby. Early 90s. And so, yes, that is mascara.
You got to bring that look back,
They
man.
made me do it, man. So that's me. That's my brother over there and a couple other guys there. So that's As Is. And that's the national band we had that did all the touring. We did overseas tours, and
Right.
we went over to Saudi Arabia, which is some other crazy stories, and during the Gulf War, and we did all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yes.
But still, yeah, that was our main national band, and then we had the Getting Busy band around here, and then, as you were saying, we have In the Groove duo. Sometimes we're a trio, but In the Groove duo is Heather and myself, my wife, and as I was saying, I'm a multi-instrumentalist, and I have a recording studio at Mega Music. So I go in and we pick our song, and so I'll start and I'll learn the drums, and then so I'll record the drum track, which sometimes takes a lot of, because I play drums. I don't call myself a drummer, but I can do plenty of edits and get it right.
Yeah.
Then I lay down bass guitar, probably some basic keys if it needs it, and then I go play guitar with it. She plays hand percussion, and we both sing to that. So we go out, we sound like a full band.
Yeah.
But we can, we're not really loud unless I got plenty big sound systems. I can go play loud. But we can play little coffee houses or breweries and stuff like that. That's kind of more of our wheelhouse now.
Great.
So the days of jumping off stages and spinning around, all that stuff is kind of behind this old guy now. So we just do more laid back kind of Steve Miller, we'll do country and stuff, Garth Brooks, that kind of thing. Just good sing along stuff. So that's In the Groove duo. That's what I have going on now.
Sweet.
And if someone wants to contact you on booking you, how would they go about that?
They can always call me at Mega Music. I mean, we all have our Facebook pages. So we have In the Groove duo /trio. Because Dean Jensen, a buddy of mine, he sometimes plays guitar and electric violin with us, which is really cool.
Sweet.
And so we sometimes play out as a duo or a trio. So it's Facebook, so it's In the Groove duo /trio, and that keeps up there. And then they can always just call me at Mega Music. Phone numbers on all those sites, 970-521-9020. So that's all goes to me.
Oh, yeah.
And if you do the bullhucker.com on Todd's page, episode 12, this is, we'll have a link to your Mega Music store.
Sweet.
In the bottom of your page, so
Yeah,
you
man.
can always go to there. So while you're here, this is the Bullhucker podcast. If you're new to the podcast, what we do is we bring a guest on, and they bring 3 stories of their life with them. The kicker is only 2 of the stories are true. One is the Bullhucker, which is a lie, a fib. It's a fake story. I have to ask you this, Todd. The story that's not true, is it made up, or did you borrow it from somebody?
It's made up.
You completely made it up yourself.
All made up.
Okay, all right. So this is where Matt and I, I'm just going to let you pick the first story, man.
I don't have to deal with the crazy Rochambeau you try and do all the time?
We're going to Rochambeau when we're guessing the Bullhucker. But I'm just going to let you pick.
I saw that Facebook video and that comment you're putting out. You remember saying 3 or 4?
Mm-hmm.
You know it's 4.
You know what? Tertia Cain last night said it was 3 too. All right, Todd, listen.
All right.
I'm sorry to start this argument up right now.
I'll be the referee.
When you paper, rock, scissors, or
Right.
rock, paper, scissors, how many pumps do you do?
Well, on the third one, you snap and you show your
1,
hand.
2, 3, go.
No.
Thank you.
You guys are nuts. All right.
It's 1, 2, show.
Thank you.
All right. So rock, paper, scissors.
Yes.
That's why it's a 3.
Yeah. So Adam.
Well, I was always taught 1, 2, not 3, but 1, 2, show.
Yes.
2.
Yeah. 1, 2, and the
boom.
third one you show your hand.
I don't know about all that.
So, but it's crazy, Todd. Now, on the Facebook video, we had people vote, and almost everybody voted the other way. And I'm like,
4.
how is that possible?
Because it's the right one.
He's the third guest that's agreed with me on that one. So
They're the guests. They have to agree with
I'm
you.
not saying I'm right or wrong, but that's just how I was taught.
It's all right.
Okay.
I'm saying he's wrong. Okay, let's pick a story.
we're going to pick a story.
Enough. Okay.
Otherwise, this will devolve even worse. I'm sorry, Larry. I just had to get at you.
I hate you.
I know.
Carry on.
Oh, man.
Can you read my writing?
Yeah, I can. Rikidorikide Mikadorikablitz?
That's the
That would be exactly. what I was saying.
Recording in Minneapolis.
Recording in Minneapolis. So that's another. I was just talking about recording up there. So
Yeah.
we recorded up there twice, and so again, not mine, our manager at the time. It's pretty good connections. We didn't find out till later that he went to school in Minneapolis and things like that. Well, we found out later that he actually grew up and went to the same school that Prince went to, which everybody knows Minneapolis, that's Prince, whatever.
Right.
Because they're about the same age and stuff like that. Now, this is like 92, right in that area. So I'm getting old, so everything's like, could be within 3 years. I'm pretty sure it's 92, right in that area. And so we were coming through. We were touring the U.S., and we had to come through, and so we had a 4-day layover where we were going to get in the studio and lay down our tracks for our first demo. So We had a 4-day layover. The studio put us up. Our manager was there. He's in the booth with the recording engineer, and so we're in there laying our tracks down and everything, having a good time. It was fun. It's a beautiful, beautiful recording studio in downtown there. And so I don't know, day 2, 3, whatever, it all just blends in. But we're recording. We get done, and the guy cracks the mic. He's like, all right, good take. He's like, hey, there's a guy that wants to come in there and try out your guitar, which I had. A buddy of mine was the Ibanez rep, Ibanez Guitars. And he had this guitar one time when he was traveling through, we crossed paths or whatever, and he had this Ibanez RG, one with the floating tremolo system, and most of you people don't know what I'm talking about.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
But anyways, really fancy guitar. And it was all like a pewter kind of silver.
Wow.
And it has inlays on it, and usually they're white. Well, this thing was mirrored. Ooh. And the pick guard, you strum down, was all mirrored. Beautiful guitar. And I'm kind of an Ibanez RG player. That's my world. That's my guitar, back in those days. And I told him, I said, God, I'd love to have that guitar. And it wasn't sold in the U.S. It was sold in Europe. That was it. He just happened to have it. So it wasn't brand new, but it was just a demo. Well, I wound up getting it. And I think there was like 2 in the whole United States, he was telling me. And luckily, I got it at a pretty good deal. It was still a chunk of money. But, we were getting some advances and stuff, so I was like, I'm going to spend a little money. So I had this guitar in the studio, and beautiful guitar, sounded great, looked awesome, with all the mirrored stuff on it. It was just, and it was kind of a one-of-a-kind. So you see similar models like that. They have all the white on it. They don't have the mirrored on it.
Yeah.
So somebody must have been in the booth, and he was saying he wants to come in and he wants to try your guitar out because we're about ready to take a bit of a break. So I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, whatever. I don't mind, it's whatever. So this big black dude comes in there. I'm like, whoa, that's a mighty big dude for playing guitar. I'm like, all right. And then in walks Prince. Because Dale, he was a buddy of him. So in walks Prince. And I'm just like, I am frozen solid,
right.
And again, we knew he grew up with Prince, but you never know when he's going to be around and what he's going to do.
Sure.
And he just kind of like, hey, and the big black guy's like standing there like his bodyguard and stuff. So he gets a guitar on, whatever, and just annihilates the guitar.
Oh, yeah.
Playing all this tasty stuff, just smooth, mellow, and he's ripping the guitar and just going crazy on the thing. And we're all just like trying to, this is Prince. I mean, this is 92. So,
right.
I mean, I just like never in my dreams did I think I was going to meet Prince.
Right.
And he is just destroying this. I mean, he's a virtuoso. I mean, making this guitar sound like I'm never going to make it sound like,
Right.
And I'm just sitting there going, and this is the days before everybody had a video camera. And, and I'm just going, if we could just have this recorded. So he fools around with like probably about 5-10 minutes, not very long, just does his thing. So he gets done, puts the guitar down, and goes, yeah, man, nice. And I turned over, I was going to say, well, check out this other guitar, because I was like, I want him to play both my guitars, So when I'm selling these things, I can say, hey, Prince sold this guitar, play this guitar.
Touch everything,
I look
dude.
back over, he's out the door.
Gone.
He didn't even say goodbye or whatever. And now it's like just lore that he does stuff like that. He'll just appear. Like he'll come in and challenge somebody to a ping pong game or a basketball game or something.
Right.
And then he's just gone. Like this, but at that time you're just like, what? And so,
Wow.
We go back up into the booth, and Dale was like, pretty surreal, huh? And I'm like, dude, he shredded that guitar. He goes, all right, now we got to lay some more tracks
I have to lay
down.
tracks
and
down?
I'm just going,
Oh, man.
I need a moment or two to absorb what has just happened,
right.
and just collect myself. Number 2, I have to follow Prince in the studio now.
Right.
I'm like, no, I need a minute or two to collect myself, because, I mean, I'm a decent guitarist and stuff, but, I mean, the sounds this guy was coming up with, the riffs he was doing was just...
He's Prince.
Yeah, and I mean, have him right there live just going, oh, this ain't video.
Right.
This dude's right here playing
is
my
real
axe,
life.
Wow.
And it was still a surreal moment. That was just one of those things where it was like, he's there, he's playing my guitar, boop, he's gone. I'm like, because I want him to sign the damn thing or whatever,
Sure.
and Dale's like, that's the way he is, man. He pops in, he pops out, and because he had his own. He had Paisley Park then, but he had his own little studio set up in Metro Studios there, and so he had a hallway that nobody else could go down but him.
Right.
So you never knew he was there. He'd just come in and out the back door, and he'd peek in with people, and that was it. Then there's stories of people all the time, Like, yeah, Prince came in. I like that song. Let me lay down a keyboard part to that. And he would just jump in with people all the time and just appear, and then he'd be gone.
That's awesome.
Just crazy. Yeah, and just one of my cooler moments.
I don't know how I'd handle that, to be honest. I feel like I don't know how to describe it. Like my wife just cheated on me or something like that. If I love my guitar so much, and then I'll never be able to play my guitar like Prince can.
It was probably the strangest thing, walking up to that guitar, just going, Jesus, I can't believe that happened. Jesus, I can't believe I have to play it now because they're all going to be sitting in the booth going, yeah, no. Yeah.
Great track, man.
Yeah. After Prince just made it sing like probably, a famous singer. I'm just like, okay, I'm going to lay down some rhythm tracks right now. I'm not going to do any really rocking solos right now because I need to have a day to absorb this stuff right
That's
now.
incredible.
So it's humbling, very humbling.
Well, again, you don't really expect to ever bump into those type of people.
Yeah.
And I, like Joan Jett and stuff, after that, and touring and stuff, we opened for a lot of people. But I mean, never somebody like meeting Elvis or Prince.
That's
or,
that level.
Meeting Clint Eastwood or, somebody that lofty. You never really think I might pass them in a restaurant one time just out of accident. But to be in that kind of world, and, you're not even thinking, it's like, well, yeah, he lives in Minneapolis. This guy grew up with him, but you're never thinking, oh, yeah, it's like saying, hey, Dale, can you invite Prince over to jam on my guitar? It's like,
exactly.
Yeah, dream on, mister, It's just one of those things that just happen, and you're like, then it's done, and you're like, I'm just not really sure if that happened or not. I think I'm dreaming,
That's amazing.
Is it like the Bill Murray thing? Did you ever watch that documentary about Bill Murray?
No.
He's notorious for doing that to people.
Yeah.
Like, he'll just get into crazy, like, he was at a restaurant and some kid has passed out on the table. They're all drinking. So he takes the picture of his buddies, prop him up, and he smiles. So this guy woke up with a picture next to Bill Murray. Or he'll walk up to people's restaurant, grab food off their plate, like fries, eat it, and tell them, nobody will believe you.
Yeah, nobody will ever believe you.
I'll find the name of that documentary.
Bill Murray
It's
took
amazing.
my French fries.
There was a story on that documentary about this house party, this massive house party. It's this college party. Bill Murray shows up to it. They're like, holy shit, Bill Murray's here. So he gets up there and starts singing with the band.
What in the
The
world?
cops show up, and they're like, dude, you can't bust the party. Bill Murray's here.
Yeah.
And cops all, go get him. And they didn't bust the party, man.
Yeah.
They're like, you're good, man.
And that's the only thing, I tell Heather this all the time, and there was so many cool things that happened to me, but it's before, portable camcorders were like this big, and it cost like $2,000.
It's a mobile phone.
And so maybe you could take a quick picture or whatever, but at that moment, it just we're there just with our instruments.
Right.
We have nothing but our instruments and a bottle of water. So, I mean,
Right.
I can't go get a camera because, as soon as you leave, you come back, he's going to be gone. It's like,
Sure.
no, I have to absorb the moment because I don't know how long he's hanging out for,
Right.
Hopefully not for too long, though. That studio time is going to cost some money.
Yeah.
But you got to meet Prince.
Now
so,
that I think about it.
Got to balance that out.
I should have talked to Dale and said, I didn't get charged for
That
the last
hour,
10 minutes,
yeah.
right? Right? Like that was a freebie?
Send Prince to Bill. Oh,
Yeah.
and the rental on my guitar.
Yeah.
That's what I was kind of
Damn
hoping
right.
later on we were talking about. I'm like, I wonder if Prince would pay for all
I
that,
was
man.
thinking.
He must not have liked us that much. I don't think we're his flavor.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
That's a good story. What do you think?
So the first thing that popped into my head, I want it to be true.
Yeah, right.
I want it to be real so bad.
That happens a lot on this. There's been a lot of stories told that I'm like, I hope this is true.
I want it to be true so
See, but
bad.
that's the first story. So I have two more to
Yeah,
go.
Yeah.
you do. And I
We'll
get to
find
pick the
out.
second one.
Mhm.
So that was recording in Minneapolis. I'm obviously going to take the strippers in Alaska story.
Okay. It's not as cool as it seems, though.
Okay.
So this is male strippers.
Prince was there?
No, no,
Whoa.
no. I think he married a stripper at one point, or a dancer, anyways. But that's besides the point.
It was
So
somebody else wearing a blouse.
this is about that time where we did a Canada and Alaska tour, and I want to say that was 92 or 93, right in that anywhere that wheelhouse, whatever. And so we the trip there was insane. Number one, because they're like, okay, well you're gonna take a ferry a little bit through the Inside Passage, and the rest of it we had to drive the Alaskan highway. Well, this is 92, 93, and little did we know that highway Up in that area is kind of a general term. And there's some areas that just look like we're driving down a cow trail. I'm not even joking. I've got my customized van that was a people hauler, and we had like a 16-foot box truck that we're carrying all of our gear in there. I mean, full big light show, all that stuff, huge PA and stuff. We had light tech and sound tech with us. And it was a nightmare driving up there, man. It was unbelievable. I mean, we hit a moose. They told us, don't drive at night. Well, we had to get at a certain starting date, and something had put us behind. So we have to drive this one night. They said there was some pretty good pothole kind of sinkholes in there. And Colorado, I'm like, I put some pretty good ones. I kid you not. There was one pothole that we hit that was probably 3.5 foot deep.
Oh, man.
Was probably 5 foot long. I'm probably underestimating what it was.
Pot Lake?
I am driving the truck, and my sound engineer's over here, and we literally went, shit, and we were airborne, and went, bam, hit again. We're like, oh my, and then here come the other side of it, and I kid you not, you could have probably parked half a semi in that thing, just where the road just totally collapsed there and there. And so, yeah, we didn't drive at night anymore after that. We're like, yeah, we're not doing that anymore, you know.
It shows you what pussies Americans are. There they call them potholes. We call them canyons.
Oh, it was when they were saying, they were like, oh, it's nothing like you've ever experienced. Wow. It was like part of the road was just gone. I thought I was going to die.
Right.
So I didn't know where the bottom was. I'm like, the road's gone. And we're airborne. You know, and then all of a sudden we're bouncing around and we're like, well, that wasn't, now we got to come out of it, you know. And you know, where we went in a box truck. So we almost died. But anyways, I digress. So back to the story. So we are playing in the island of Sitka, which is beautiful. And we're playing on this really nice big club out on the bay. And so we're there for about, through the area, through that place, we're there for about a month stint. And so there's this little tiny lady. She's probably 4'11", you know. She's just a little tiny little old sweetheart of a lady, you know, and she's the bar owner. And so she tells us, she's like, well, they need to use your sound system Friday night. We got the Chippendales or whatever, the guy dancers from California. I don't know if it was a Chippendales, but it was a pretty high-end, very classy male strip. Well, first she just says the stripper's coming in. We're like, cool.
Cool.
And then she's like, then Chippendales, something like that. You're like, oh, male strippers.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And they're like, well, we need you guys to run the sound because they got their music and this and that or whatever. And she goes, what you're going to do is we're going to run the show from, I think it was 6 until like 8 or 8:30. And then right after, she's like, I want you guys getting up there, and then, you know, it's going to be packed in here. And the place held about 400 people, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've seen a lot, you know, but I'm like a Colorado kid.
Right.
And I've never been to a male strip show, obviously, you know. I've heard the stories. I've seen some pictures or whatever.
Right.
And I've been to a couple strip clubs, and you know, you don't touch anybody, you don't get close, you get your butt out of here. A lot of rules when a guy goes to a strip club.
Right.
Well, we're up in Alaska in the early 90s, so it's pretty crazy, you know, some of the stuff we've seen. And so we're like, okay, no problem, we'll do it up. That'll be cool. The place will be full of women and stuff like that, because she's like, after that, then we'll open the doors and everybody could come in. And I am not kidding you. This is some of the craziest crap I ever seen. And these guys came out, and, you know, and I am definitely not attracted to men. But these were some good-looking hunk of men. These were like sculpted,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Oh, man.
These guys were like, I'm like, I didn't even know. Like, you could look like that.
Yeah,
I've
those
seen some
muscles
muscles,
exist.
and I've seen some, you know, some abs.
Right.
They had this one guy called Tarzan.
Oh, great.
And I am not kidding you. This dude was like 6'3", and he pretty much went like this.
A V shape.
And I mean, he was just like granite, you know. Solid dude, man, with the big long hair, and, you know, had a little bit of, he looked like frickin' Tarzan. I could see he had the loincloth and all that stuff. Pretty much, you know. And I mean, all these dudes were just, I mean, they were like, she paid some money for these guys. I mean, they were solid.
Right.
So we get there. I mean, the place is packed with women, just nuts, you know. They are just screaming so loud. I mean, everything's just crazy. So we're by our sound booth, and we're starting to show, and these guys are putting on a show, man. I'm like, oh, very nice. I mean, they dance move. This wasn't no cheesy show. I mean,
Professionals
oh
recognizing
yeah, they
professionals.
were doing it. They
Yes.
knew how to dance, boy. You know, they're doing all these push-ups and just beefing up the muscle, and the women are just going nuts. I'm like, these women are just wound up, man. I mean, they're going crazy. And so, you know, they're doing their thing. Well, then the guys go out and they pick one girl and they kind of do a little private dancing thing or whatever. And then later on, they kind of give you a little taste of what you could get, I guess was the deal. And so, but they pick one girl to do something quick, you know, and say, okay, this is what you get. And then we'll be over here doing the private dances, you know. Well, there was a gal. She wasn't very big. She was probably under 5 foot, you know. And I mean, she wasn't like a skeleton, but she was, you know, a fairly tiny girl, but still, she was a human being. Well, this Tarzan guy, he comes up and just scoops underneath, you know, like I was like, oh my, you know, and I'm like, oh, and I'm kid you not, he with one hand.
Between her legs?
Yeah, he just goes like this.
It's called a bear claw.
And he just lifts her up. I'm not even over exaggerating. One arm. I mean, his arm was bigger than my leg. I mean, just lifts her up with one hand, grabs the legs, and, you know, proceeds to put her right there and do the whole thing, you know.
Right.
But he just lifted her up with one hand, and
just
brought her up.
Uses
And
her
I'm
as
over
a
there.
mask.
I'm just like, yeah.
Pre-COVID.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Congratulations. You are 20 times the man than I am. I'm just ungodly, you know.
Right.
And so they are whipping these girls into a frenzy. So they're doing their private dance and stuff. We're playing the music for them, doing the thing. And we're like, wow, these they're getting rabid, man. I mean, they are just losing their minds, you know, and drunk off their butts, you know. And so she's like, okay, you know, I'll get my bouncer guy to stop your music and stuff. You guys go back, you know, because we had our guitars and stuff in the back room. And then the little lady, she's like 4'11". She goes, and I'll bring you out, you know. I'm like, okay. We go in the back room, get our guitars on. We had all wireless stuff, so we get everything ready to go. Because she's like, when that music stops, I want you to get up there and just start in your first song. You know, let's get it partying and stuff. I'm like, all right, we got it, you know. Go back in the back room, get all of our instruments on. We had wireless headsets. We had the whole thing, you know. So we're ready to go. So he's like, okay, you get about 10 seconds. Let's go. So she walks out in front of us. And I swear to you, man, I have never been grabbed so much in my life. You know, I mean, they were thinking we were part of the show. I mean, we got our tight jeans on, we got our long hair, we got in that picture, we got a little waist. We're looking good, you know, but we ain't part of the show. You know, we're the damn musicians. I got my guitar on, and I've never had my butt grabbed so much. And then, the funniest thing, the little old lady. This little gal, you know, it's like, stop it, quit it, leave him alone, stop that. And we're all like, Jesus, I mean, these women are just, I mean, they're grabbing like crazy.
Right.
Like, not like, ooh, let's feel, I mean, they are grabbing.
They're all worked
and
up.
I got the boys grabbed a couple times where, like, seriously racked me, and I'm like, girl, get off me. And she's like, stop it, quit. And the little 4'11" lady is just going nuts on. I'm like, couldn't we got the real bouncer over here and you could have shut our music off or something? Yeah, this little lady, I said, you ain't doing no good, you know. And I mean, I've never got grabbed so much in my life, and they were hanging on for dear life. We finally make it on stage, and I'm just like, okay, I seriously got racked like 3 times, man. I need a breather for a minute. She's like, start playing. I'm like, they're up here right now, man. It's like this one lady just, I mean, it's like, oh my God. And they were losing their minds. Their eyes were this big. I mean, they were so worked up. It was unbelievable.
So you sounded like Prince is what you're telling me.
Oh man, that first song, I'm just like, yeah. Somebody kicked me for a field goal 3 different times, and I have to sing a song now, you know. Right. Let's pick the highest pitched one we can. Yeah. I already got a pretty high voice. But at that one, I was like, I don't even know if I can breathe right now.
Right.
So, yeah. Anyway, so we survived. It turned out to be an insane night, but yeah. That's my Alaska stripper story.
I used to work at a nightclub in Pueblo, and they would bring in strippers. They had a strip club in Pueblo, a female strip club, so the owner used to bring in male strippers. The Chippendales, there's a bunch of them, man, and it's the worst night to bartend ever. Ever. Because everything is a blender drink. And if you you find me a bartender who doesn't mind blender drinks, I'll show you a bartender who hasn't done it for very long. You know what I mean? And they would come and get like cranberry juice, whatever, the strippers, and they'd try and tip you. But they'd give you like the 5 that's all soggy. And you're like, you know what, man? We're good. Yeah.
Was that in your bra? Okay, pass on that.
And it would be loud. Women are so loud. I mean,
that's what I'm saying about, like, I've never been to a gay strip show, and I kid you not, my ears were ringing before we even got on stage. They were just squealing and screaming so loud, like they were trying to outdo each other. And there's like 350 women in this place,
Right.
losing their minds, just drunk out of their minds. I mean, they were just plastered. I mean, this was the party of the year for them. They had them down. They had these people down once a year, and we just happened to be the lucky guys that were there during the time they were going to be down. I'm like, oh joy.
Men when they go see strippers are just creepy. It's quiet though.
Just kind of sitting there
It's
quiet. The music's playing.
Yeah,
Next
yeah.
up,
Yeah.
Ember.
Next on stage 5, but yeah, women are super ass loud. And the one thing that not drove me crazy, but I thought was so silly, there was a dude who came to the door because his wife was in there, and he demanded that she pulled her out in front of everybody. I'm like, why would you do that? I mean, what's the end result? She comes home drunk and horny? God forbid.
Yeah,
You know
terrible.
what I'm saying? Send her with dollar bills. Have fun, babe.
That's all I could think of was I'm like, there's going to be some guys that are just, hopefully they can make it through the night when these women get home, because
Send a
this is
thank you
going to
card
be.
to the strippers.
Yeah.
But funny ending to the story though. So I was pretty much a workout buff, and in any place you go, they'll give you like a quick 1 or 2 week traveling membership into whatever gym you're at or whatever. Most gyms
Right.
will do that. And so they had that there. So I go work out the next day. Not Tarzan, though. Not Tarzan. But 2 of the guys came walking in to work out in the gym that I was the next morning. I was there working out. They came walking in, had some really nice furry coats on and holding hands. Like, well, all right.
No saltpeter needed here.
It's like
no
I'm not.
saltpeter needed here.
I'm not going to bust anybody's fantasy because then the next week all the women were coming in and talking about this guy and that guy, and I'm just like,
Yeah, no,
If you
oh,
only
those
knew.
two? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they were working out with me last week.
that's actually a pretty common thing. Do you know what saltpeter is?
I don't.
So it's something they take, or they used to take. There might be something
Yeah.
new now, to where you won't get an erection.
I
Right.
had no idea.
I wanted to buy some at one point in time. For people who didn't tip me, I would spike their drink with this shit. You know what I mean? Like, you don't tip me. Oh, you want to be an asshole?
Yeah.
Well,
I'll show you.
I'm going to roofie your drink with a little bit of a,
You don't do any
Well,
bartending
something
nowadays, do you?
No, no.
Okay, thank
No,
goodness.
I couldn't find out where to buy the stuff because I would limp dick a lot. And my buddies, I would limp dick my buddies if I had the chance. You know what I mean? Like,
I say I don't think my seal was broken when I opened up the water, so we're
Yeah,
good.
check
I'll
that
go ahead
real
and
quick.
drink it again now.
This episode of the Bullhucker podcast brought to you by Skyra Icelandic Water.
so what do you think? Do you have a clear-cut one in mind yet or no?
The funny thing that popped in my head was I want this one to be true.
Again,
I told you on the first one we've only just begun.
I want it to be true. I just think, like, what was it like to have your opener be if you could have taken those guys on tour with you, would you have brought them with you?
Oh hell no.
No.
did you have a picture to show with this one or no?
I want to. Yeah, you pictures of Tarzan.
No.
Ah.
Like I said, this is the early '90s, so
Yeah.
and no one was allowed to bring cameras in at that time. Now you can't do it because every cell phone is a camera.
Right,
But no, I'm telling you, if the cell phone cameras stuff would have been around back in the day, I don't think anybody would have had near as much fun. But yeah, there'd be a lot of blackmail going on right now.
We went to Mardi Gras, my buddy Tim and I, and we, you're hammered. You're just hammered. You're not sober.
Yeah.
And we went to a strip club. We ended up at one. Crystal had to use the restroom, so she went to use the restroom, and Tim and I enjoyed the show, and I pulled my phone out to take a picture. And man, they were on me like
whoa.
flies on shit.
Yeah.
Like they made me open my phone, watch me delete it. You know what I mean? Like, you will delete that picture in front of us. And I'm like, okay, man,
You're
calm
right,
down.
calm
you know?
down.
So, by the way, I've had enough hurricanes. I won't feel pain. You can beat the shit out of me all you want.
I'm way gone, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm just one big numb body right now. It's all
right.
good.
Well, Todd, you haven't disappointed yet, my man. You've not disappointed yet.
No,
So
these are incredible.
we have one more story. Getting asked to dance in Cheyenne.
Oh yeah. So we were playing a huge place. I don't even know if it's still there anymore. And again, this is probably 93, now 94, a little bit later. And we would play like around the Cheyenne Frontier Days, whatever, but we'd play a place called the Cheyenne Frontier Club.
Okay.
And because we were kind of like a party rock band, but we'd also play some country, and we would play some Prince, and we play a little dance stuff too. But it was all pretty much like rock based kind of stuff. But we were kind of a party band type thing. Aside from writing our originals and stuff, we go out and play covers and things like that. So a lot of times we were playing a few nights of just making people party with other people's music, and then we go out and showcase, or we'd open up for different bands and stuff like that, and do the kind of concert type things, venues. And so we were down there for about a week stint. We were there for about 6 days to play the Cheyenne Frontier Days at the Cheyenne Club. I think it's still down there, but huge place, like holds like 1,500 people. So we're up there just doing our thing. We played it for probably like 5 years in a row. And so they held us over for the next week, which wasn't the big party time. So we're playing like a Wednesday. This is back, believe it or not, when you actually used to play like Monday through Saturday gigs or Wednesday through Saturday.
Right.
We'd actually play like full week gigs, travel on the next day, and next Monday we were playing someplace. So it's hard to believe anymore that we can't even do weekends. But anyways, I digress. So it's maybe like a Wednesday or something like that. And there's like a bachelorette party and a couple things going on. And there's a good probably 100, 150 people in the bar, but not too much. It's pretty mellow. And by that time, we got to know pretty much all the bar staff. So I'm up getting a drink from one of my buddies up there. And I don't drink alcohol. I'm just drinking Pepsi. So I go up there. And, of course, I have my long blonde hair and stuff like that. And granted, this is like 30 years ago, so, I'm not as old as I am now, or I'm younger. And so I go up to the bar, and, we know all these people, so we're just joking around or whatever. Well, I feel this tap on my shoulder, and I look over, and there's this he's probably in his 40s, dude with a wrinkled up kind of cowboy hat, just scruffy, drunk off his butt like a... barely understand what he's saying. He's like, "You want to dance?" And I'm just like, I'm looking around, and the dude behind the bar doesn't even try and help me out or save me. He just busts a gut and just walks away. The other guy in my band, he starts laughing. He just walks away, and I'm like, "Screw y'all. All right, you just leave me hanging here, whatever, And so I look back over at the guy, and I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
So I go back over, and I'm just like about ready to walk away. The guy taps me on the shoulder again. I'm like, oh, Jesus. Look back over, he goes, what, are you too good to dance with me or something? And I'm like, I don't swing that way because I'm not sure. I'm like, hey, I got nothing against you, man, but I don't swing that way, brother. I'm sorry. Don't do it, I just, because I don't know what he's thinking, so I'm like, I don't swing that way. So I lean and grabs my I'm like, what? And he's like, what, you too good to dance with me? I'm like, I'm a freaking guy.
Yeah.
I look right at him. I'm a freaking guy. And he's like, no, you're not. I'm like, how about this guy? You can reach down, see what I got.
Oh, wow.
But I'm not going to guarantee you're going to get your fucking hand back.
Right.
And the bartender on the other side is just crying, man. He's just, because he's, he walked away, but he's in earshot. He is just crying. He's laughing so freaking hard,
Right.
And the guy just still looking at me, and he's not even reaching to or whatever. And so my buddy in the band goes walking me. He goes, what the hell did you just say to him? And I told him once I was a guy. He still didn't believe it. And I said, first of all, he asked if I was too good to dance with him. I told him I don't swing that way. And I said at the end, well, you can reach down and check for yourself, but you ain't going to get your damn hand back.
Yeah,
and he just started busting a gut.
Just whip it out and pee on his leg, man.
Pretty much, I'm just like, you can check if you want, but you're not getting your damn hand back, Because I didn't know at first if, that was just who he was or if he was that drunk and stupid, which is definitely not the first time I've ever been asked to dance by a guy.
Yeah.
And it's like I always tell my wife, I said, I don't think I'm that bad of a looking guy, but I am one hell of an ugly woman. I can tell you that right now.
We don't know what you look like from the back, though. So I think, do you have any visual aids for the
that?
From the
I
back?
do not.
Oh, okay,
You might be a drunk 8, Todd. Who knows?
That's what I'm saying.
Back in my day, and when I had my long hippie hair like I have now, and I was much younger, I think I was all right looking, but I still would not mistake me for a woman or ask me to dance.
I am not going to dance with you, okay?
You're not my type.
Yeah.
Ooh, you're a cowboy. Don't go that way.
I think there's always been one time in a guy's life where he's saw someone walking away, thought it was a woman, and been like, "Oh, look at the ass on that one." Turned around and be like, "Oh my god,
whoa,
hello."
Yeah,
Yeah,
like a
that
Dumb
one
and
up.
Dumber.
You work.
Check the butt out on that. Yeah, you must work out.
You must work out.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
And it was my
hilarious.
own fault. Had my hair long and a blonde. Had the tight jeans on. So I'm like, either that or his standards are really damn low.
Or maybe he's impressed because he knew you met Prince. You know what I mean?
That's
Yeah.
what I'm
This
saying.
guy knows
Maybe he thought you knew some dance moves when you hung out with the strippers.
Yeah, right.
I'm just going to go with he was just severely drunk and stupid. So that's what I'm going with, you know.
Right. Well, we're going to wrap it up here pretty quick, Todd. Do you have some more pictures to show us real quick?
Yeah, let's see some more
let's see
visual
here.
aids.
Well, just some of my other bands. Oh, well, anyways, meeting cool people and stuff like that. Unfortunately, rest in peace. But this is a picture. This is my old business partner over here. But
Just up a little bit, Todd.
up a little bit.
There you
Obviously, that's me.
go.
The guy in the middle, you guys recognize him? You got to be old school like me.
don't.
Hold
That's
on.
Eddie Money.
Okay.
What?
That's Eddie Money.
I almost met him in Vegas, but go
Yep.
ahead.
So I had him in my store because I've done a lot of concert promoting
Yeah.
too, and so I actually got to open up for Eddie Money too, and
That's
get
cool.
to hang out with
Dude,
him.
that's badass.
Yeah.
You know, fun fact about Eddie Money, he didn't have not one, but in fact 2 tickets to Paradise. So
2.
just so you know.
It was so funny. He was in my store, and we doing a whole autograph section with him. He's hanging out, whatever, and he always had the same line. He's like, "Hey, buddy, I got 2 tickets to Paradise. Who's coming?" Because you got this old New York accent. Who's coming? You know, everybody ate it up, but he always did the same thing. I seen videos of him later on. Always had that same line. You know, I'm like, "Hey, work it if you got it, man." You know.
I was going to ask you the question. You've kind of answered it. The story's true, but who's, other than Prince, who's the person you've been most shocked to meet?
Well, it was set up. We got to open for Joan Jett, and she was kind of like one of my idols. One, I had a crush on her.
Right.
Who didn't? And, you know, kind of an idol because, she was a pop rocker, kind of a little bit of grunge and stuff. And
Yeah.
I was always impressed with that. And so we got, I was going to bring a picture when we got to open up for her, but it was when she was kind of going more back to punk and she had cut her hair and it was all spiky blonde. So if I tell people and they look really close, you see me standing there with her and you could tell it's Joan Jett, but she doesn't have the coal black hair. She went spiky blonde. She did that in like the mid to late 90s for a while and stuff. So that was probably the coolest person I met. And I met the guys from Little River Band and Stephen Piercy, the guys from Rat and all that kind of stuff. I've opened up for all these people and stuff.
Yeah.
So met some really cool people. Probably the coolest, not musician-wise, but I actually got to act because when I was up here in Denver and we'd come back and, we were traveling, so I couldn't really have a part-time job per se, so I do these kind of, different odd jobs or whatever. One of my friends was doing extra work, and they were actually filming Diagnosis Murder, which Dick Van Dyke was in, and they filmed it here in Denver. And at that time, they redoing, I think it was Ironside or something like that.
Interesting.
The same production company was doing it. Well, like, hey, you want to come along? You got nothing going on. And they're like, just see if you can get hired on as an extra. You get extra amount and a free meal, or X amount of dollars and a free meal. And then if you can actually get in a scene, you get like an extra $100 a scene or whatever, and I'm pretty much a poor broke musician. I'm like, sounds good to me. Free
Let's
meal?
do
You
it.
got me,
Yeah.
I had nothing going on. So I go there, and this is the time of the first couple seasons, Scott Baio was kind of his sidekick type of thing, which was cool. I'm like, ooh, Scott Baio and Dick Van Dyke. And, they were hanging around, so you got to see him. Well, you're sitting in this other room, and the director would come in because he was doing a particular scene. And I heard through the grapevine that they had Scott Baio was supposed to follow this guy with a briefcase into a bar, and I got a leather jacket on, I have long hair, and I'm like, oh, I'm in the bar scene. Trust me. My friend's like, dang you. Yes. Sure enough, comes in. I actually had to give my jacket to another person, and he's like, all right, you and you and you, and so I have one scene somewhere out there where I'm right by a back door and I'm watching these 2 gals play pool. And so what I'm supposed to do is I got a beer. It's kind of a ledge kind of thing I'm leaning on with my beer. It's like, what I want you to do, this is pretty high-end acting here, because I want you watching these gals playing pool. And when Scott opens the door, I just kind of want you to look at him, look up a little bit, and then go back to looking to the gals. So I did my scene.
Nailed it.
Perfectly. Nailed it.
Academy Award.
Then there's another scene where they do it looking from the other side, where you can see me in the background of the scene where I'm just kind of watching him play pool, and he's kind of watching the guy open the briefcase and do whatever his thing is or whatever, And then there was another scene that I got to actually do with Dick Van Dyke, which was in the restaurant, it was a restaurant bar.
Yeah.
And so I had to be a waiter, not waiting on them, but I had to walk past, with a tray or something like that, and they made me pull my hair up in a ponytail and,
Right.
do that whole thing. And I get to walk, you see me on that, and that was probably the coolest thing. And then, so everybody had to eat lunch together that was all catered. And they told them, our extras, don't talk to the stars. Don't ask for autographs. So I'm there with my tablet writing songs, write lyrics or whatever. It's all ready to get autographs. So I'm like, hey, Mr. Baio, can I have your autograph? So he signs the autograph. Next guy, Dick Van Dyke, comes in. Hi, can I have your autograph? They both sign my autograph.
That's cool.
And I was like, screw it. I'm getting autographs, man.
Yeah.
This is my one shot.
Right.
So I got to act with Scott Baio and Dick Van Dyke.
Dude. Well, that
So
just
that was probably not musician-wise, but that was, Dick Van Dyke's like a legend. So I
He's
was like,
great.
this
That's
is going to be
amazing.
only opportunity. And my mom loved Dick Van Dyke, so I gave her the, the autograph.
I'm sure she loved that.
Scott Baio, I was like, cool, grew up with Chachi, and I was like,
Yeah, of
Dick Van
course.
Dyke was like, that's going to be cool,
Charles in charge, man.
Well,
Yeah.
now, what about you? Did you meet any cool famous people?
Ooh, come back to me. Well, here's almost met him. So the first time I went to Vegas, I was working at a nightclub in Pueblo, and it was a nightclub convention. We pull into Vegas, and there's a whole casino that's fenced off, right?
Yeah.
It's you can't go in it, and we asked the cabbie what's going on. He says, "Oh, they're filming a movie here." And I go, "What movie?" They're like, "Rush Hour 2." And I'm like, "That's amazing." Jackie
Mama!
Chan and Chris Tucker. Yeah, right?
Mama!
Yeah. So that's really cool, right? And we're standing on Circus. We're getting pretty hammered. My boss, Helen's this old Italian woman who's awesome, by the way. She's old and she's just anyway. We're walking back to the hotel from the convention center, and we're pretty hammered, except for Helen. She's not a drinker. And we come across one of these wedding chapels, right? And this limo pulls up, and an Oriental couple gets out. She screams, "Look, Jackie Chan! It's Jackie Chan!" And I'm like, "Not Jackie Chan. It's not that. It's like 30 years from being Jackie Chan. This dude's young." You know what I'm saying? And
You're close.
these people gave us the dirtiest look
Oh, I'm sure.
of all time. You know what I mean? So
That's hilarious.
yeah, I've never met anybody really famous. Just like Slaughter. I met them in Pueblo once, and
Yeah. I've had those in Sterling. There was that was a concert I did there at NJC in Sterling, and had all
Right.
the guys from Slaughter come down.
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
they're cool.
Yeah.
My buddy my roommate Nathan. What's up, Nathan Garduno? We used to work at Axe Haven Music in Pueblo, and they were doing an autograph session. So I got to sneak
Sweet.
in there. It was me and 5 million women. There was no guys in the, you know what I'm saying? It was, but I like Slaughter, so.
One of the
That's
weirdest
awesome,
things
man.
I had to do is we did a concert with Firehouse, and so the whole band, I had to actually drive them back up in my van. I had to take them up to DIA, and we're all just shooting the crap and talking about music and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is weird. I remember buying their album
Yeah.
back, and I was
That's
like, this is so strange, and I'm just sitting here BSing with all these guys,
I guess I met the guy from Saturday Night Live. He played the dog on, the voice of the dog on Dr. Dolittle. What's his name? He used to do the Weekend Update. Oh, gosh, from Dirty Work, the guy from Dirty Work.
Oh, Norm Macdonald.
Yes, Norm
Oh,
Macdonald.
Norm.
Yeah.
Oh, Norm's. a
You
good
got to
one.
meet Norm?
I was performing at the Denver Improv on a show, and it was during the week, like Tuesday or Wednesday. My mom had came up to watch a show, my buddy Alan Goff or whatnot, and she's like, "The dog guy's here. The dog guy's here. The dog guy's here."
The dog guy.
I go, "Mom, who's the dog guy?" And she's like, "The dog guy." And it was Norm Macdonald. So everybody's bugging him. So I just walked up and said, "Hey, huge fan of the movie Dirty Work, man. Love it." Shook his hand. He's like, "Thank you, dude." And I wasn't gonna.
Yeah.
I wasn't
Take
gonna
up too
bug
much
him.
of his time.
Yeah, man. I just
Well,
wanted
what a
to-
legend, though.
Oh yeah,
That's awesome.
It's funny, man. You?
So there's two, one quick one, one short. The quick one is my favorite band in the world, my inspiration for music, Muse, the lead singer, Matthew Bellamy, their multi-instrumentalist
Right.
and songwriter. I offered him a chicken nugget at LAX. I couldn't think of anything else when I saw him. I had a straight up fangirl panic attack, and he sat down across, it was like, I don't even know what it was, like lunch seating, like you would at an elementary school. And I'm just like, don't look at him, don't look at him, don't look at him, don't look at him. Do you want a chicken nugget? And he's like, no, I'm good.
I'm good. I'm fine.
Okay, great. And then I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. He's right there.
Yeah.
And then I think he got the vibe that I might tackle him or something. And so
Yeah.
he left shortly after that.
A
I
little
was
bit of
pretty
that
bummed
creeper
out.
vibe sticking out. It's like,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
I mean, honestly, rightfully
I
so.
don't mean to be awkward.
I was freaking out on the inside, and I was really trying to hold it in, but I'm sure, like, I hadn't blinked, for the entire time he was there.
Sure.
This is my guy. I love everything he does. I was like,
That reminds me of the
wanna
Prince
tell him
moment. It's
everything.
like, am I really here or am I stepped outside of my body
Exactly.
right now? It's
Exactly.
like, I don't know what's happening right now, but it's
Right.
happening. I don't know if I'm here or not.
Right.
My favorite one, though, was I recorded at a studio in Denver. I think it was Westminster, called Colorado Sound Studios. And they held a studio party, invited all the old artists that they used to work with. And one of the guys who showed up in 2 limos, one limo for him and 5 chicks, and the next limo was for an extra 5 chicks that he was hanging out with, J.R. Robinson, Michael Jackson's old drummer.
Oh, yeah. Big dude.
What? And I was trying to tell my bandmates, they weren't big into studio music at the time, so they didn't know, the guys who were rocking all the different tracks back then. And I was like, you don't understand. Like, this is the guy who came up with iconic licks on drums that we all know and love nowadays. Like, that's the guy. Well, it turns out he's talking about, I got called up and flown out to France by the guys in Daft Punk. They wanted me to work on a couple songs for them on their new record, Random Access Memories, Grammy Award-winning record.
Yeah.
I'm just like...
Wow.
What? We got to meet him in the middle of the recording sessions for Random Access Memories. Like, this guy, he's right there. And so he's telling all these amazing Michael Jackson stories. He's just like all these behind the scenes interactions. JR, I really love that drum piece. Maybe let's try it like this. And he's like, whatever you want, Michael. Whatever you want to do, we'll make it happen. But rock with you.
Yeah.
J.R.
that's all
Robinson.
him.
I'm just like, that's just insane to me.
I was thinking of dun, dun.
I mean, he played on so many tracks for Michael Jackson. It's my brain melted, and then he's telling all the stories, and of course as he's telling the stories, like they had it set up like there was going to be a panel because there was other famous artists there, and no, the panel was for JR's women to sit on the stage
for all the
with him.
groupies. It's like, more power to you, brother.
Oh man, it blew my mind. I love that
Go
one.
to sports though. I know we're both Bronco fans.
Yes.
I got to meet Barrel Man a couple years before he passed away. Come
Oh,
on.
really? I've met quite a few Broncos
Yeah.
over the years, but I mean,
But yeah, we were at a karaoke bar. We were gonna maybe get a female singer in our band. She's like, "We'll come to this karaoke night." We go there, and I kept looking at this guy because he had the orange cowboy hat on, but he didn't have a barrel on, but has clothes on. And finally, somebody goes, "Oh, that's Barrel Man."
Yeah.
So I went over there and said, "What's up, man?"
What's up, Barrel Man?
Anyways, Barrel Man.
That's slick.
before we wrap it up, I did one I got to know actually was Rick Upchurch.
Yeah.
He lived in Pueblo, him and his wife. And the club I worked at, Friday was jazz hour. They have a jazz band came in for happy hour, and yeah, it was. I never listened to jazz music, but I really started to like it after a while. And Rick Upchurch and his wife would come dance. Every Friday. He always tipped well. Super nice man. Until of course some drunk had to start shit with him in the bathroom one day.
Yeah,
he didn't feel safe about coming to the club anymore, which was a heartbreaker. He's such a nice guy. And
That
Rick
sucks.
Upchurch was I know you're not a big football fan, but in the 70s and early 80s.
Carolina Panther
Okay,
fan.
like I said, you're not a big football fan.
I can like him now that Newton's gone.
Yeah.
All right.
But he was a major wide receiver and kick return for Denver. He was a big deal back in the day.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
So,
He was awesome.
and I almost got my ass kicked by one of my favorite Broncos of all time. But that is a story that I'm going to tell when I'm in that seat.
There you go.
Right.
That's going to be your turn, baby.
That's
That's going to be your
turn. So,
turn, man.
Right.
We're going to wrap up this part of it, though. I'm going to thank Todd for coming on and sharing your stories.
Yeah.
You'll be back next episode for the reveal. Also, Matt Gordon with me to stepped in today.
Thank you so much, Larry, for having me yet again.
Before we go, I want to remind everybody that you can find everything on the bullhucker.com. If you want to book Todd or see anything with Todd's Mega Music Store, the link should be on the website under episode 12, Todd Allen. You can also find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter or Instagram. If you go on YouTube, please make sure you hit that subscribe button because it helps the show. Right?
Subscribe.
So I'm
always hear people say, and ring the bell.
Yes,
Whatever
and
Well, and they
ring the bell.
changed it. That's the
Oh, did
problem.
they?
Now they
Oh,
added
you
it.
can't
So
say that cool
they
thing now.
stopped doing auto notifications when you would
Oh.
subscribe, and so you have to select the bell to get notifications from
Right.
the channel.
Oh.
Right.
Gotcha.
So,
I was being clever.
Yeah.
but it is, yes. As Todd says, ring the bell. So,
I ring the bell.
anyway,
Ding, ding.
we'll see you guys next week. Thank you. I'm Moose Lundstrom
Matty G.
and Todd Allen. Thanks, guys.
That's all, folks.